Yo everyone! The brand new Melon Sandbox 36.0 update is finally here. And today, we're checking out everything that was added in this update. This is honestly one of the biggest updates we've gotten in a long time. There are new capes, new flags, new vehicles, new maps, a brand new win system, and a bunch of other cool features. So let's jump right into it. The very first feature we're checking out today is the brand new win system. And honestly, this might be one of the most interesting additions in the entire update. At first, it doesn't sound that exciting. I mean, it's just wind, right? But once you actually start using it, you realize how much it changes the game. First of all, we now have a completely new wind menu. Here you can control the wind, direction, and you can also control the wind, strength, which means you can create anything from a light breeze to an absolutely insane storm. Now let's increase the wind force and see what happens. Look at that. The capes immediately start reacting to the wind. And honestly, this looks way better than I expected. Before this update, accessories were mostly static, but now everything feels much more alive. Stronger the wind gets, the more dramatic the effect becomes, and I think this is going to make custom scenes look so much better, especially for players who enjoy creating cinematic builds and roleplay scenarios. This might seem like a small feature, but it actually adds a surprising amount of realism to the game. And since we've already seen how wind affects accessories, let's take a look at the brand new capes added in Update 36.0. There are quite a few different designs to choose from. Some look like superhero capes, others look more like royal or military capes. And honestly, they all fit surprisingly well into the game. This might not seem like a huge feature at first, but customization is something players have wanted for a long time. Now it's much easier to create unique characters and make them stand out from each other. And thanks to the new win system, these capes don't just look good, they actually feel alive. Overall, I think the capes are a really nice addition to the game. Next up, we have the brand new flags. And honestly, I wasn't expecting so many of them. Players can now place different flags around their worlds and add a lot more personality to their builds. This is especially useful for creating countries, military bases, kingdoms, or large roleplay maps. It's a pretty simple feature, but sometimes the simple features end up being the most useful. And combined with the new capes, it's now much easier to create unique factions and characters inside Melon Sandbox. Overall, a small but very welcome addition. Now let's move on to something a little more exciting. Next up, we have one of the funniest vehicles added in this update, the banana car. And honestly, this thing looks absolutely ridiculous. But that's exactly why I love it. The moment I saw it, I knew players were going to have a lot of fun with this vehicle. Just look at it. It's literally a giant banana on wheels. And somehow it actually fits perfectly into Melon Sandbox. Let's see how it performs. Okay, it's actually not that bad. Although, I don't think this thing was designed for safe driving. And judging by what just happened, yeah, definitely not. Overall, this might not be the most practical vehicle in the update, but it's definitely one of the most memorable ones. Next up, we have another unusual vehicle added in Update 36.0. The Inflatable Banana, and yes, you can actually ride it. At first, I thought this was just going to be a decoration item, but it's much more than that. Simply attach it to a boat, hop on, and you're ready to go. And honestly, this might be one of the funniest vehicles in the entire update. Just imagine pulling your friends around the water on a giant inflatable banana. It looks absolutely ridiculous, but that's exactly what makes it fun. I can already see players using this for races, challenges, and all kinds of crazy experiments. Overall, it's a simple addition, but definitely one of the most entertaining ones. But now we're getting to what might be the biggest feature in the entire update, the new chip system. And honestly, this is something players have been waiting for a very long time, because this isn't just another item. This is basically a programming system inside Melon Sandbox that players can now create much more advanced machines, mechanisms, and automated creations than ever before. And the possibilities here are honestly insane. We're probably going to see automatic doors, complex traps, custom vehicles, smart machines, and all kinds of crazy inventions created by the community. This feature adds a whole new layer of creativity to the game, and while it might take some time for players to learn how everything works, I think this could easily become one of the most important additions Melon Sandbox has ever received. I'm really excited to see what people build with it over the next few weeks. Another interesting addition in Update 36.0 is Coral now. Coral characters have actually been in the game for a while, but before this update, players couldn't obtain Coral as a separate material, and that's exactly what changed in Update 36.0. The developers added Coral as its own resource, which means players can now use it inside the nano assembler to create Coral characters themselves. Honestly, I think this makes the nano assembler much more useful. Instead of simply spawning a character, players now have another resource to collect and experiment with. It's a small addition compared to some of the bigger features in this update, but it expands the crafting system and gives players more customization options. And I'm definitely curious to see what other resources might be added to the nano assembler in future updates. Next up, we have the brand new fire protection suit. And this is one of those items that's actually useful, not just decorative, as the name suggests. It's designed to protect characters from fire and extreme heat, which opens up a lot of new possibilities for experiments. Now, players can safely explore dangerous situations that would normally set a character on fire almost instantly. And honestly, it looks pretty cool too. I can already imagine people using this for volcano builds, fire challenges, and all kinds of crazy tests. It's not the biggest feature in the update, but it's definitely a nice addition for players who enjoy making dangerous experiments in Melon Sandbox. And finally, let's take a look at the brand new minigames added in Update 36.0. Honestly, this was one of the biggest surprises for me, because I wasn't expecting the developers to add multiple playable minigames in a single update. The first one is Flippy, and if you've ever played Flappy Bird, you'll immediately understand how this works. The goal is simple: fly through the gaps without crashing into the obstacles. Sounds easy, right? Well, it definitely isn't. The game starts off pretty simple, but the longer you survive, the more focused you need to be. One small mistake, and your run is over. It's one of those games where you'll probably say, "Just one more try," about 20 times in a row. Next up, we have The Crawler, which is basically Melon Sandbox's version of the classic Snake game. You collect food, grow longer, and try to survive as long as possible. The more items you collect, the bigger your character becomes. And the bigger you become, the harder it gets to avoid crashing into yourself. What I like about this, one is how simple it is. You can understand the entire game in a few seconds. But getting a really high score is much harder than it looks. After that, we have Blocks. And this one is clearly inspired by Tetris. Different shaped blocks fall from above, and your goal is to place them strategically and complete full lines. Whenever you complete a line, it disappears and gives you more space. At first, everything feels calm and easy, but eventually the screen starts filling up faster and faster, and suddenly you're trying to save yourself from complete disaster. It's a classic formula for a reason. Simple to learn, very difficult to stop playing. And finally, we have Table Tennis. Probably one of my favorite minigames added in this update. Compared to the others, this one feels a bit more competitive. The objective is simple: hit the ball back and don't miss. But once the ball starts moving faster, things become surprisingly intense. It's simple, fun, and honestly a great way to take a break from all the destruction and chaos happening everywhere else in Melon Sandbox. Overall, I think these minigames are a really nice addition to the game. They might not be the biggest feature in Update 36.0, but they add a lot of extra variety. And whenever you need a break from building, experimenting, or blowing things up, you can jump into one of these minigames and try to beat your high score. And with that, we've officially covered everything added in the brand new Melon Sandbox 36.0 update.